Alrighty. Live from Cabot, Arkansas, this is Answering Your Financial Questions with Coach Steve Money, number 62. And I am, again, Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free, yes, free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That is a video conferencing appointment. So you can do that from anywhere in the world. As long as you got good internet, you can do that. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve, or no, yep, paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, and Walmart gift cards to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money, and of course the YouTube channel is youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. As always, thank you so much for watching, and let's get into it. Oh, one final plug for me, my YouTube channel, age 42 subscribers, so almost qualified for baby monetization. And so looking forward to that and continuing to grow. So you can see Oak Island is the most of my content right now, the most viewed of my content, but I still continue to do the other things like this stream, Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. This one is number 62, so there's 61 other ones. What up, Lens? Drive-by thumbs up. Thank you so much. So it used to be called Ramsey Coach, but I decided to change the name to Answering Your Financial Questions. The music playlist right below that has 8 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. If you're interested in those, give those a listen. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. And there are 364 of those, so plenty of me to listen to there. And there are 2 upcoming, which would be on Fat Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, kick off Mardi Gras, and that would be on February 13th. Tuesday, February 13th, and also Monday, February 19th. There will be another after show that day. All right, so let's get into the questions. Actually, first, quickly go over the baby steps. This basically answers almost anything that you could ask about the Ramsey plan. Almost anything. There are some things it doesn't answer, but we will certainly answer those as well. Step 1, 2, and 3, you do in order, one at a time. That means you do not go ahead and do other baby steps until you have saved your $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Is step number 1. Step number 2 is pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball, and that is smallest to largest. You do not go ahead and start saving more money while you are paying off debt. You don't do that. You don't skip to the next step. These are in order, one at a time. Step 3, save 36 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And that's when you would take your debt snowball amount, and instead of paying somebody else, you pay yourself and into your emergency fund. Steps 4, 5, and 6, you do in order again, but you do all these at the same time. So your snowball amount would then go into investing 15% of your gross household income into retirement, beginning to address kid college if you have kids and also want to help them, and of course pay off your home early. And then once you pay off the home early, then you're in step 7, build wealth and give. And at that point, then you can start investing more than 15% if you so desire. All right, into the questions. We finished up with the dyscalculia last night, or dyscalculia, which is like dyslexia, I guess, for numbers, and that does not sound fun at all. At all. All right, so continuing, hung home, long commute advice. I'm considering a new job that would have me driving about 100 miles a day. RT, round trip, 3 times a week. Okay, would you A, continue to drive your low mileage FUV and just accept the hit to your car value plus high gas costs in a lower miles per gallon vehicle? B, buy a used beater that gets high miles per gallon. C, buy used electric and save on gas. I don't live in a state like California with insane gas prices, but still project my gas expenses to double or triple in my current SBU. Buying anything right now probably stinks. Have prices went down at all since COVID? You can still find cheap cars. As far as these A, B, or C, it could be D as well. But buying the used beater might be the best thing to do. Or you can just put more miles on your SVU. Isn't speaking of dyslexia, isn't that SUV? Shouldn't that be SUV? Let's see what SVU. Isn't that Special Victims Unit on a TV show? Let's see. Let's go vehicle. Very interesting. I don't know that much about cars, so I don't know. Did you mean SUV? Okay, so whoa, SVU in cars. Oh, sports. Yeah, SUV. So it's not SVU. Okay, so that's okay. I just want to make sure it was something that I didn't make sure it wasn't something that I just didn't know about. I mean, you can do either one of those. You're buying it for cash. Obviously, if you buy a used beater that gets high miles per gallon to save it on your other vehicle, or you just put the more miles on that, or you don't take the job if it's going to be that much trouble. So commutes are not fun, trust me. Not fun at all. I used to have an hour round trip. It wasn't 100 miles, definitely. Hour round trip for a job, and fortunately I moved a bunch closer to it, and that was much better. I eventually moved 3 minutes from work, and so that was great. At the moment I'm up to 8 minutes. I still feel the difference in between there, even though it's only 10 more minutes a day round trip. Heavy is the crane. This person has did it switch the order again on me? Let's see. It's yeah, I talked about this one before as well. Huh. I think sometimes it switches the order on me from day to day when I sort by new, and I'm going backwards. Should paying off mortgage insurance be? Yeah, I talked about that as well. This person thinks his PMI is a debt, a separate debt. It's not. It's just part of your payment. So, and he was wanting to pay that off as part of baby step 2 for some reason. Oh, he wanted to pay that off even before the other debts. And so, nope, smallest or largest. What's the best financial tracking app? Software. Every dollar. Let's see, the person uses Crooked now and has become very glitchy and cumbersome. Well, you can try Every Dollar. I use a spreadsheet and that does everything I want it to do. So, no app needed. Time to pay off the, where this from Titratius. Time to pay off the auto loan. Looking to hear your experiences. As mentioned, going to pay off, the loan on Monday. Excellent. That's tomorrow. Wonderful. Well, that was 8 days ago, so that was a week ago, actually. Was wondering how you guys did it with a credit union. I'm going to go into the bank and pay in cash. Did they provide a written document indicating you no longer have an account? They would at least show you the receipt, and the balance due would be 0. I know they're probably testy about that because they want to keep you getting loans from them or bank with them, but what was your experience like? Thanks. I don't think they have a problem with you paying off a loan. I think that's just fine with that. Now you may not, they don't probably have the title right there in the bank, and so you wouldn't get that immediately. And so, you know, you would have to wait till the gears turn on that, but they would definitely give you a receipt saying that you had paid it in full. Cassie, it's not like quitting the gym, which is harder, or stopping a subscription, which can be harder. What up, A9? How's it going in the UK? How to sell car? Well, first find somebody that wants to buy it. Let's see, appreciate. This is probably dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. Just a bit of context. I have paid off my car loan and am 3 months away from paying off student loan forever, ever. Excellent. I have, someone from your neck of the woods, A9. I have £1,000, 1,000 quid in emergency fund. I'm fully on board with the idea of selling my car to buy a cheaper one and banking the money for an increased emergency fund. I could probably sell my car for £10,000, 10,000 quid. Bought it used last year for 12 quid. 12k, excuse me. Okay, and I found the model car I want to replace it with for around £3,000, giving me potentially £7,000 to pay off the loan faster and have a fully funded emergency fund. Okay, let's see what the rest of this is. However, I live alone in a rural area, so selling my car first and then trying to get a car delivered is tricky. I could go a few days without a car, but any longer and I would struggle. Obviously, part exchange is easier and more convenient, but garages have only quoted that they would give me 6k for my car, which only leaves 3k and makes the whole sacrifice a bit pointless. Well, any advice? Thanks. You would, if other people live in your area, you may still be able to find a person. So you would put it in Auto Trader or Craigslist, something like that. Having a garage or a dealer buy it from you, you're gonna not get as much as you can from selling it private sale. So that's always buy it and sell it private sale. That way the dealer doesn't get any of the money, and so you're buying a cheaper car, and you're also getting more of the profit when you're selling a car. Let's see, wet, dark, and cold in the UK. All right, that doesn't sound great, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Weather happens. Let's see, free. That's from educational_run8809. My wife and I paid off our car and our home. Excellent. It feels great to be free of those payments. House paid off 6 years ago, and the car was paid off 3 years ago. Too blessed. Thanks, Dave Ramsey. All right. Excellent. This is from Laird. I believe this person was in the Ramsey Show chat recently. I haven't seen that person recently, though. Consumer debt free, finally. Excellent again. Just a very quick post to share with the community for encouragement or validation, or to add to the growing list of people that Dave Ramsey has helped. Back in December of 2019, I owed £14,000, so UK, maybe British, on a personal loan, and £7,000 on a credit card. I'd established a new live events business right before COVID and had monthly debt payments of £550 per month. No proper emergency fund, little pension, no investments other than my home. I found Dave Ramsey by chance on YouTube one evening and binge his content. It was a huge wake-up call, and I started the Gazelle Intense Baby Step 2 method. As of yesterday, my final loan payment of £275 went out. It's gone, cleared off, and I'm breathing easier, and it's thanks to Dave Ramsey. If you're in Baby Step 2, keep going. You eventually do get there, and it is great. I will second that. It is fabulous. X25 Stanky. All right. 90K in debt, working towards a better future. Hi, I'm looking for some opinions on how to better my life for my wife, child, and myself. I'm 24, earning about 51K a year, currently sole earner with a beautiful 1-month-old baby girl. Congratulations. Combined, we total to about 90K in debt with cars, credit cards, and student loans. A lot, but nothing insurmountable with some life changes. Indeed. We recently got a car we most definitely shouldn't have and are trying to downsize for the next few years to really tackle this. And I'm wondering the best way to go about it. We've already cut up the credit cards and plan to move in with my mother in the next coming months, which will cut our $1,600 rent in half. But our 2 cars are about 1K a month, and I want to get rid of at least one, yes, because I know it was dumb. Yeah, absolutely. I'm upside down on both of them, one being a lot more. The 2020 Kia, I'm down $3,500, but the 2024 Trax, I'm down about 8K. So I'm wondering if it would be smarter to take a tiny loan, sell the Kia, and then just take the L, which is lost, on the Chevy, and plan on keeping that until I die, paying extra on it every month. Or if I should keep the Kia and just eat the dumb decision on the Trax, take that down from 36K, and instead of get the loan for 10K and just pay that off. Really want to do things right, so love opinions, some opinions, thank you. And I'm of course going to suggest sell both of them and get 2 cheap cars. If you can do just 1 car, if you can make it on just 1 car, do that. But otherwise, get 2 cheap cars, and that will that also not only takes a big chunk out of this 90K by erasing the car debt and turning that into a, where is it? So you could save up money and buy 2 beater cars. $3,508, so 11,500. So 11,500, and if you can't save up the money, or just want to do it right away, it's fine to do it right away because you are getting rid of both of the car loans. And so an 11,500 loan, and then maybe another 2 $2,000 cars, that kind of thing. You could add that onto that loan, and that is fine, replacing the much bigger loans that the cars represent right now. So I would recommend 2 of them. Your idea on selling at least one of them, that's great, and probably the more expensive one, the newer one, and because that would have depreciated less. So that is the good idea. But that's secondary to selling both of them and just going with really cheap cars while you are paying off the rest of that 90K, of which the cars are probably a bunch of, maybe even half of. So, and that would really relocate your debt situation very quickly. Get an electric blanket, Ana. If you're cold, that would be a good idea. I've been leaving mine at work. I should probably buy one for the house. Positive ad 9932. 32 female, 50K in debt. How to begin tackling? Well, you go towards the person and you kind of like grab them and you pull them down to the ground. That's in football though. In this case, they mean how to begin addressing it, how to begin taking care of it, is what they mean. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Give me a break. Please be gentle. This is scary for me to post, as I already know how absurd this is, and feel great shame for the situation I've put myself in. No one in my life knows this because I am so ashamed. So writing this here is my first time saying it out loud, so to speak. And that's huge, even if you have to put it, you know, on a subreddit where you're relatively anonymous, pretty much anonymous. And so, but even saying it out, you're admitting it to yourself, even, is a big step for this. I have already begun making changes in my life, such as not eating out at all. Excellent. Starting a budget. Excellent. Oh, budget tracker. And spending as little as possible. That's how you do this. That's how you pay off debt. I am tired of living this way and prepared to make the necessary drastic changes and hunker down. Currently single, Southwest, not California. Excellent. Lives in America instead of in California. Rent $850, utilities $150, income $65. Take home $3,500 per month. Health insurance, good benefits, great. All right. Auto loan, $20K left at 4.5. Credit cards, $30K across 5 cards. And just discovered while hunkering down that my average APR has increased from 18% last year to 26% now. WTF indeed, that will happen to you. And I mean, I guess it can. It just depends on the terms you agree to that you don't read when you sign up for the card. And they could possibly do that. It could be based on you know, interest rates, what interest rates are at. It could be if you were late for a payment or two, that could increase it as well. Let's see, what else to mention? High yield savings account, 4,700. Retirement account, 42,000. I do not want to file for bankruptcy. You don't have to. What was the debt amount? So if it's 20 and 30, that's 50. $50K and makes 65 gross. All right. So, I mean, you could, 20K left on the car, you could sell it and move down in car to a beater that you drive in cash, that you pay for in cash. Other than that, you're saying all the right stuff to do. As I said, the only thing I could add to that is work more, spend less, even more than you've already cut the budget. See if there's anything else you can cut. And whatever this 30K bought on credit cards, if you're not using that stuff regularly, sell it. So let's see, helpful tools, worksheets, trackers, or words of motivation. Or am I in an impossible situation? Not at all, not at all impossible. I'm also currently applying to part-time jobs, there you go, to add to my income to aggressively tackle this. No kids or pets, good health. All right, well, health is wealth as well. So that is excellent. Let's see if I have anything else for her. I think you're you know, tired of living this way, so you're saying all the right things there, but again, and you are looking for a part-time job, but keep looking for you want drastic change, you gotta take drastic action. And so, like, look for anything around the house that you're not using that would be worth anything to anybody and sell it, especially things that you may have bought on the credit cards. And consider selling the car, moving down in car as well. And other than that, you keep looking at the budget and see if there's anything you can take out of there. Lots of words of encouragement there in the comments beneath, I saw. AWACE23, side hustle suggestions for a single parent. I have a 4-year-old daughter, full time, and I'm looking for ways to earn extra income primarily on the weekends. She's in full day daycare 5 days a week, so if possible, I would like to avoid needing additional care in order to pull this off. Aside from the cost during the week, it's school, dinner, bath, bed, so I'd like to avoid sacrificing our time together. Has anyone else found a side hustle that they can do with their kid? No, I can't think of any at the moment, unless you're going to open a daycare, that kind of thing. So you could possibly do that. But if she's in full day daycare 5 days a week, I mean, that's a huge expense. So, and so that's so looking for a side hustle. So I'm assuming has a full-time job. Did not specify that. So, but I guess we can assume that. But I guess she doesn't assume anything, so definitely work while she's in daycare if you're not doing that already. But other than that, it might be difficult to find time to do anything else. 4 years old, probably going to go to bed early, so maybe you can do something remotely from home after that, or do some like side gig work, remote work, something like that, after she goes to bed. $Every app, again, I tried it, didn't do what I wanted it to do, so I went back to my Google Sheets, #spreadsheet. Front Fishing 1930, $Every app. I have a question about tracking student loans on the $Every app. Do I put my overall student loan balance into the app, or do I list out my debts by student loan groups? You can list each individual one, so you probably want it to also give you the total of just the subgroup of student loans. So yeah, it's probably not that complex of an app. You probably have to I don't think it can track like things on a line by line basis and then group certain lines together to show you that. It may be able to do that, but that's what I think this person is talking about. And so you probably, if it doesn't do that, you would have to either choose to make it all one line item, the overall student loan balance, as one line item, or again list them out individually, as I think you have them now. Again, $Every app, TMG30. If you go to $Every website, there's a ton of, I believe, demonstrations on there. Rachel Cruz, on Rachel Cruz Show, has a bunch of videos about the $Every app as well. EveryDollary. That's the EveryDollary app. I use the $Every app that's linked to my credit union. The app has been great. I have been using it for a year. Okay, the credit union I use no longer connects. This leaves me with 3 options. Manually enter. It's possible that there's just something up with your account. I would call them to ask to make sure that they're that they are incompatible. with linking it now. Because there could easily be something just that got changed on your account with the credit union that would not allow that. That would be also if you had any trouble with any type of electronic banking thing about like bill pay or Zelle or Cash App or PayPal or anything like that. If you've been cut off from those as well, then that would make you not be able to connect to every dollar with from the credit union itself. So contact the bank and see what's up with that. Let's see. Option 1, manually enter transactions, pain in the butt. Sure, but your time is free. Change banks, reconnect all utilities that come out automatically. So that leads me to believe that she thinks the bank might be the problem. So again, I would contact them and ask why if you have not already, since you didn't say they can't connect any longer. You're just saying it no longer connects for you, is what you're saying. Paying to switch deposits. Yeah. I mean, when you change banks, it's going to be a hassle. Absolutely. Necessary sometimes, though. Change budgeting apps. Have to learn new software, right? Routine of every dollar is easy at this point. What budgeting software to use and is comparable every dollar. Has everyone else had recent connection issues with? Yeah, so when it says connection issues like that, again, you can contact every dollar just to make sure there's no problem on their end for your credit union, but call the credit union and see if you have any problem with any e-banking stuff at all. And like I said, again, that's going to include third-party payment apps like PayPal or Zelle or Cash App. And so if you've had an issue with one of those, they may shut that off. And any number of other things. If you've been negative for a while, if you've been misusing overdraft protection, all that, they could just take away your access for that. And that you usually also include making mobile deposits as well. They would take away your ability to do that if they have any problem with you. So call the bank and ask them to see if there's anything wrong on their end. Or not wrong, but anything that they did to cause that. From Low Hamster 3994. 29K left on mortgage. Wife wants to quit now to become a stay-at-home mom. What should I do? Well, always when it's here's the money situation, and so I'm assuming saying 29K left on mortgage, since you led with that part, I'm thinking I think the first priority is to pay that off right now. And then but wife wants to quit now to become a stay-at-home mom. What should you do? And again, I want this and the wife wants this. The answer to that always is communication, not with Reddit, but with your wife, and then compromise. So let's see, they're both 26, have been aggressively paying towards the mortgage principal for a long time now. Before purchasing the house, there was a mutual agreement that we would grind for a few years and prioritize paying the house off with the goal of her becoming a stay-at-home mom once it's paid off. We bought in 2021 when rates were low, and we secured a 15-year fixed rate at 2.25. The house cost $230,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot. Sounds very nice. We absolutely knew that making extra payments with a 2.25 was not the optimal financial choice, but that is the baby steps to pay that off. If you don't have any other debt, and you have your full emergency fund, and you're investing and addressing kid college, as long as you're doing all that stuff, then step 6 is to pay off Find it right there. Pay off your mortgage early. And that, it doesn't say, but only if it's a high interest rate. It does not say that there. So, yeah. So doing the math, you don't get that calculation because there's no risk button on the calculator. And Mr. Ramsey is very risk averse, and so his advice is that as well. We valued peace of mind more. Exactly. So it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. Absolutely. And our want for a more traditional lifestyle triumphed any... Trumped. Oh, okay. It was supposed to be trumped. I got it now. Trumped any investment gains. Okay. We have managed to get the loan balance down to $29,000. At this moment, we currently make $82,000 combined, with me making $42 and her making $40. We used to make more money, but had unexpected career changes. Nonetheless, we continue to pay towards the principal with lower payments. All right, almost to the finish line. But then my wife starts telling me she wants to quit ASAP. She broke down and told me she doesn't want to work anymore. I keep telling her we're almost done. But she said we have knocked off enough together, and what's not clear is the few years that we would grind for a few years. So if it's been 2 years, especially if it's been 3 years, that's your few window, and that's done. So she may have satisfied what she agreed to in the beginning, but again, regardless, communicate with her and not just complain on the Reddit about that. Let's see. Being away from her son every day for most days is her reasoning. So if then you would have to, unless you're working opposite shifts, I'm assuming daycare is involved, so you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't have to pay that anymore. So I'd be interested to see of her $40,000 and what that is after taxes. So what, maybe 36, something, 35, something like that. And so how much are you paying a year on daycare? And so if it's not that much, then you know, maybe that would be a break even at that point. So, but I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get it. It was, what was it? It was $230,000, and now it is down to $29,000. So I understand you wanted to pay it off, and that is the Ramsey advice, absolutely. But every spouse doesn't always want to do the Ramsey advice exactly as it is written, or she may think she's satisfied the a few years agreement, and now wants to you know, something could have happened at work that she doesn't like. Who knows? I mean, you would know that more than we would. Let's see. Oh, our mother-in-law watches him, and I assured he's happy. I gotcha. And content, and that she can be home with them soon enough, right? I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know everything about it. So you have to talk to her about it. We don't know exactly why it is. She may be truly missing him and wanting to spend more time with him. But also it could maybe be the more work, whatever happened at work thing. And then she's just saying, yeah, she wants to be with the child more, just to, you know, as more justification. So we just don't know that. So let's say you're stressed out because we only have about $5,000 in emergency fund right now. Our mortgage. So what? I mean, why is that the case? Overpaying on the house. I mean, you shouldn't take down the emergency fund to pay extra on the house. So in that case, if you did that, you are the one that's doing it wrong. Our mortgage is $1,200 a month. If we rely on just my income, my take home is only about $2,600 a month. Okay, factor in all utility bills, insurance, everything. Okay, we're only going to have $300 left over every single month. Does mother-in-law get paid for watching the baby? Is what I'm wondering there. Any amount? And if not, again, I understand you wanting to get that 29K done. Let's see. Okay, so the snowball amount would be down to 300 per month. Yeah, again, it isn't feasible and just one income right now, but she isn't listening. I mean, if you don't have any debt other than the mortgage and you have 300, I mean, that's definitely not as comfortable as having 2,400 buffer for sure, but 300 is 300, so that is feasible. So you're using incorrect language there, and of course you want us to side with you, but she isn't listening, and so you have to talk to her. I understand being stressed out, and so you can vent on Reddit. That's one of the things it's for. One expected emergency could wipe out all the savings, right? Which is why that shouldn't be below an amount. Whatever amount you thought you needed for the emergency fund in the beginning, that doesn't change because you want to pay the house off faster. You don't all of a sudden decide, oh, well, I want to pay the house off faster, so I don't think we need 6 months, even though I thought we needed 6 months before I had this great idea. So that's, that's intellectual dishonesty or something like that. I'm sure there's a term for that when you do that. Let's say I dread being in this situation because I had invested because had I invested our money or even built up a savings situation. Right, okay, I get it. You're not happy about it. We would be way better off, and I can't change the past, and just trying to make sure we don't end up homeless or foreclosed. What could I do? Nothing. Should I get a credit card with a decent max? Really? Just in case I run out of cash and need to borrow money. In case you run out of cash for what? What do you need cash for? I don't know what to do at all. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Yeah, talk to your wife and make some kind of compromise. Maybe she can go down to part-time. And so that way you wouldn't think the end of the world was happening. It would still go down from 2,400, but it wouldn't be all the way down to 300 if she just was working part-time. So how about that as a compromise? Yep. Not happy. I mean, I do get it, but are you gonna have it cause problems in your marriage because you disagree on this? You got to work it out. Alrighty. Where do you put your emergency fund? What kind of account do you put your emergency fund in? I'm worried if I keep it in my savings account linked to my checking account, I will be too tempted by the fruit of another to spend it for things that aren't truly emergencies. That's Squeeze. They're from the UK, I think. The UK. I mean, it's right there on my banking app, making me believe I have more money than I do. Ha ha ha. You know the difference. You know the difference between the savings and the checking. I want something that is out of sight, out of mind, but still accessible in emergency without penalties if I need to access it. Well, the problem is going to be if you can access it immediately, then it's going to be right there for you to access immediately. And so how is that going to stop you from being tempted? So, I mean, if it's just the fact that if you check your checking account every day and so you see that number there in the savings every day, if that's the problem, you can put it in a different bank. It's just a savings. You can put it in a high yield savings account if you can have a debit card to that. But again, then you open your wallet and you see that debit card and then you're reminded of the money. So, this is definitely a you problem. And so you need to do what you need to do. Anything is fine as long as you have immediate access to it. High yield savings accounts are great, but some of them do not give you check writing or debit card privileges to that, and you have to have immediate access to it because emergencies do not wait 1 to 3 days for a transfer. So I get it, trying to keep yourself from making it impossible for you to spend that money, but That's impossible for emergency fund because you do have to spend that money immediately when there's an emergency. Alrighty, little agua. Sorry about my crinkly bottle. Ideal girly. Bankruptcy, what now? Well, I would suggest baby step 0. It's not on this list, but baby step 0 is where you decide you're not borrowing money ever again, ever. Except maybe to buy a house that you live in. Let's see, we're finishing our bankruptcy this week. Our story is similar to Dave's, that we got into trouble, loans with our business, and then the pandy happened. What can we do now? We will have a small amount of business income from another business, but it's about $1,000. We have been using Cube for budgeting. We have emergency fund, $3,000. No debts except house after bankruptcy. Okay, stay-home mom, the homeschools. Do eBay on the side, second business. Okay. What jobs would hire someone who hasn't worked other than eBay for 15 plus years? Retail, delivery driver, Uber. Yeah, retail might be the best situation for you. But yeah, you can still get a job. Teddy Sands, 13. Budgeting for birthdays and Christmas during baby step 2. Dave said before, you take it easy on those things. Christmas is a craft, something you make, something very cheap. And then you get to make up for it when you're on later baby steps. Let's see. So I've taken the plunge and finally committed my $1,000 equivalent. I live in Sweden. So that would be in, gosh, what is that? No, I used to know what money that was. I don't anymore. I know Norway's is the Kroger or something like that. Kroger's a grocery store in the United States, though. Into an emergency fund, and based on my predictions, I could be in a debt-free position by middle of next year, which makes me feel incredibly optimistic. Problem I have is budgeting. Yep, I seem to have most things sorted, really committed to absolute minimum expenditure, but I have a family who live abroad and a wife who shouldn't suffer as a consequence of my choices. Should be both of your finances and life. So you don't do this all by yourself. So again, you have to discuss it with her and you guys compromise. That's how any relationship works, especially marriage. Since I can't ask the man directly, the Ramsey. I was like, what man? I thought I'd ask the Reddit forum. I obviously need to. And where is it? Had that when it doesn't fit in the main post, I have to open a new tab for the rest of the question. Since I can't, obviously need to visit my family annually as they're not getting any younger, and the wife deserves birthday and Christmas presents. Is this like some kind of estrangement thing? So, what would you recommend with regard to budgeting for those things over the next year? Consider them as one-off monthly hits when they happen, or save a small amount every month to make them happen. You can do either one of those. You can set an amount and cash flow it in that particular month, or you can do a sinking fund and set that small amount aside every month to make them happen. But you and wife need to get on the same page, not you especially being abroad, or you being like maybe in the United States and them being abroad, or you just in different countries. Regardless, And you're talking about who shouldn't suffer as a consequence of my choices, and it shouldn't be your choice by itself to do this stuff. So I'm sure some people will say just don't do it for 18-ish months, but for me, it's not an option. I know it might sound silly or a nonsensical question, but it's really bugging me. Yeah, you work that out with your wife is how that works. Just like the other situation. You are married. That's your family. And so it's not a thing, I mean, maybe you feel distant because you're in another country. But again, this is a thing that it's not for you to decide, oh, well, I'm going to do this. But, she doesn't have to know anything. I mean, does she even know anything about you trying to do that? So, I mean, you're supposed to talk to spouses and compromise with them on when there's a disagreement. So if you haven't even told her you're going to be doing this Ramsey stuff, you need to tell her you're going to be doing this Ramsey stuff. She might even agree with you that it's a great idea. You never know until you talk. You have to talk to people. So many of these are like, people coming to Reddit instead of actually talking to their spouse, or family. It's kind of nutty. Aragona 36, old episode. I want to hide a lot of money from my husband. What's your advice? Watching this on YouTube this morning. Episode aired 3 years ago. I wish Dave ran periodic updates. Well, that's too much work to try to keep up with people that call. That's too much. I mean, they'd have to hire, at least one extra person for that to try to do that, to keep in touch with them. And then, they could, the person they're trying to keep in touch with could change email or phone number, that kind of thing. Move and change address, and people move and don't tell their bank. They're certainly probably not going to run that by the Ramsey staff. But yeah, and so that's but definitely, regardless of whether they could do it or not, they don't do it. Now occasionally they will have some people, and those people are or were, I haven't seen the newer FPU, Financial Peace University materials, but there were people in there with who I believe they were all debt-free screamers, and so they met them when they got there, and then maybe they asked them at that point, if they could feature them on that and kind of keep in touch with them that way. But yeah, the problem, I mean, that's the problem with talk radio. You don't really get closure on the things. You don't know like, for the example, the last question, we don't know if that person will talk to his wife about it, and we won't know what she says. We just won't. And so that's the way to go. Wouldn't it be a cool segment to add to the show? Sure, it'd be great. But logistically, it's very difficult. Anyway, wondering what John Deloney would have told this woman. I felt Christy Wright was spot on. Okay. Woman's abusive relationship, and no doubt Christy did a great job describing the slow process of how people normalize it. Yep. Left wondering, did she find a way? Yeah, we just don't know. No, hopefully that all worked out great. But yeah, we just will not know. Alrighty. Hope everybody's having a lovely Super Bowl Sunday. Alarmed _hearing 9722. Finish with Roth. Why would you be finished with it? Let's see. I got an investment ELP in 2012 and opened a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA into which to roll an old IRA. Okay. From about 2103 to 2019, I guess 2003 or 2013, maybe I guess from 2013 to 2019, almost all funds in both IRAs beat the S&P International sucked, of course. It did tend to be the lower one. Small cap is seems to be the lowest lately. The advisor picked about a dozen different funds spread over. Dave recommends us 4 areas. Okay. Comparison results. Blah, 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 blah. S&P 25%, Roth 15%. Okay, so the S&P 500 is an index fund, and that would go into your Roth. So you're comparing, I guess, the S&P 500 index to the sum of all of your investments inside your Roth IRA combined. All right. And then let's see, S&P in 2022, S&P 19, and his Roth was 21. Okay, and then 2021, S&P 27, Roth 16. Okay. The investment advisor uses Voya for both of the IRA accounts. I don't know what Voya is. I guess brokerage, maybe. I can only look back as far as 2021 for my Roth IRA returns. I know that Dave constantly preaches active investing, but I can't stomach seeing my Roth IRA underperform like this anymore. I'm not putting another dime into it. Okay, so the problem is you don't blame the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is just the account, and mine does a ton better than yours, my friend, and does a ton better than S&P index, my friend. So it's not the Roth IRA's fault, it's the investments inside them. And you can change those out. Let's see, I'm not putting another dime into it. Yeah, you don't get rid of the vehicle just because you don't like the people in it. That kind of thing. You don't get rid of the account. It's still a tax advantage account in that you don't have to pay on the growth. So you would not blame, again, the Roth IRA. It's the investments that are in it. And so if you have bad investments inside it, you can change those out. You're not married to those. So just because you started investing in those, they aren't locked to that Roth IRA account. You can sell all of that stuff and buy a different fund with those with that amount. And you don't pay any taxes to it unless you take it out of that account, even after converting it to cash. Let's see. Instead of putting 15% of my income into index funds through my employer's 403B, okay, where you're losing the tax. You're losing the tax advantage of tax-free growth then, for one thing. And the second, you can get the same index funds in your Roth IRA. So I know a lot of people do not understand about that. They do not understand. When they talk about, they say, if you ask them, what are you invested in? They will say, my 401k. Yeah, that's just the account type. That's just the account. That is not the investments inside of it. So let's see. His infamous 8% retirement withdrawal rate tirade got me doing some investigating. Oh, good. Well, you should understand that the Roth IRA is an account type as well as the 403B account type. Now, if your 403B funds don't do as well either, and you don't like that either, you can't blame the 403B account type. Apparently, 92% of actively managed funds underperform the S&P 500 after 10 years. Okay, well, Dave says 40% of managed funds beat the index. He did not say you would not have to ever change them out ever. He did not say that. Why don't you mention this, Dave? Let's see. And so 92%, that seems high to me as far as underperforming the S&P 500. If it was that much, how would there be managed funds? If only 8% of them beat the index, then why would anybody bother with that? So I'm going to doubt that that's true. Why don't you mention this, Dave? So for long haul, you only have an 8% chance you're active again. So this person is, I think the Boggleheads are onto something. They are different financial advices. Well, you can take that up with them, but again, you can't blame the type of account. You can always go into just index funds in your Roth IRA if that's what you think is better, but it's not. So, I mean, I didn't know anything about investing at all. And every bit of information on every mutual fund is on the internet. And so you can compare all of them. And I didn't have any problem finding ones that beat the index. So good luck on that. But again, you can't blame the account. It's not the account's fault. It's the investments that are in there. Prince Benny Boo. Baby Step 7 Flare. Annuity recommended. By whom? Not by Dave. Hello. We're on Baby Step 7. Skip 6 because we move quite often and are currently renting. Okay, great. Congratulations getting to Step 7. We recently met with our NWM rep, not an ELP, okay, to help open a 529 for a new child. During a convo, we hashtag mentioned, what up, Matty Bags, that we are interested in investing and looking for something to supplement our retirement savings. We really just want to build wealth so that money is set aside and saved. She recommended annuity in 2 ways. One, it makes her more money. No, that's not what it says. It says 401k annuity, consolidate my husband's retirement account into a 401k annuity. No, the annuity is not going to make you as much money as just being in the market and good growth stock mutual funds. Let's see, or a post-tax annuity. I know Dave doesn't typically recommend an annuity, so why are you different? Why would you be the exception to that? I'd like some advice and help. Is 401k annuity a bad way to consolidate retirement savings? Why do you need to consolidate them? I don't know why you need to put them all together. I mean, you can roll it over to the same brokerage if you want, but I mean, why do you don't need to do that? For the post-tax annuity, my concerns are that it should be in another investment vehicle, something that has less fee requirements and less of an age requirement. I can't access till 59.5. Yeah, well, you're gonna have that problem in anything related to 401k because you can't access that until let's see what that age is. Don't know if they changed that in the new year, like they changed the limit requirements. 401k retirement age. Oh, 59.5. Okay, so that's what it would be. Yeah, so you get that tax advantage, but they do have the idea that you can't access it until age 59.5 without penalty. So that's what you give up in return for that tax thing. So you could just put it in a brokerage account, but again, the annuity would not be recommended there. So a lot of times, unfortunately, investment professionals recommend the thing that makes them the most money. Just happy to be debt free. That's great. Trying to learn more and do find it quite overwhelming. Yeah, it can be, but you can just Google annuity and read every cent on it. You can go to the YouTube and search Dave Ramsey annuity and watch all of his videos on it. And then you will learn. Aggravating hit. 30 years old, broke and living with my parents. I don't know where to start, but here goes the laundry list. Alrighty, well, my net worth is donut. I have 7.50 in my bank account. Burnt through all my savings. I just moved back to my parents' house because I can't afford my rent and was about to be homeless. My parents were kind enough to welcome me home. I don't have to pay for rent, groceries, or utility. I can't expect my parents to help me any more than that. No, that is a lot. Some would say too much. Currently, I have nothing in my name other than a phone, laptop, and a suitcase full of clothes. I started a new minimum wage job. Full time, I walk to and from work because I can't afford the bus. Okay, it's in the city, and a 5-mile walk is not much good. Oh, it's not much. Thank God. Okay. The job security is non-existent. It's what'd you say, minimum wage job. So the company is known to have a high turnover. Well, that can happen, but that may not be the company's fault. That may be the people that work there. The only positive thing that I can say about my situation is that I'm debt-free. Absolutely. Good job. I graduated med school debt-free. However, that's where I paused my career. Due to severe depression, I couldn't move forward. I hope next year or the one after that I will get back on that horse. Okay. Well, if you graduated med school, you should be able to do something medical related. I don't know what is the point of this post. Yeah, I don't either, because I mean, you should know what you can do with a med school degree, regardless of whether you went further than the med school. I don't know what that would be either, but you would know more than that. Asking for guidance, am I just venting? Probably more venting. Am I just screaming in the void? I don't know. So I would see about having graduated medical school, you could do something in the medical field that is more than minimum wage, even if that's answering phones at a doctor's office. So you could do something more than minimum wage. And so you just have to, I understand, the severe depression, that is not fun at all. Hopefully you're doing counseling for that. Beyond that, you just got to get to a place to want better for yourself, and then that way you'll take action to make your life better, and that's what you need to get to. But yeah, med school degree ought to be worth something. And again, at least, I mean, you could have all that problems and also be in a bunch of debt as well. Unfortunately, you're not. Dramatic_jelly_9501 survivor benefit plan. I'm 17 years in the Army and coming up on retirement. Okay, so not 17 years old, as I thought. The person actually wrote this exactly correctly. I just thought wrong about it. So getting ready to be retired from the Army. I'm curious, what do you guys think would be Dave's advice on the SBP? Should I take it or invest that 6.5% of my pension instead? Well, if I knew what that was, again, don't know all the ins and outs of everything investing. No, BP. Military retirement. Let's see what that is, and then we'll both learn. Helps beneficiaries by ensuring that they continue to receive a monthly financial payment similar to a veteran's retirement pay after they die. A military retiree pays premiums for the SBP coverage. Upon retiring, premiums are paid from gross retired pay, so they don't count as income. Okay, so you would have to do the math there, but I'm thinking almost certainly you taking out the cash and investing it is going to make more money for your beneficiaries than this. Almost certainly. I think. Let's see. As military SBP a good deal? Cost is high, yet the likelihood that a retiree spouse or qualifying child will ever receive any tangible return from it is low. If the spouse predeceases the service member, then all funds paid into the plan are simply a loss from net retirement pay. Retired pay. Yeah. So, I mean, even that alone would cause me to I'll just take the cash and invest it then. Yep. Okay. Well, we learned something. Awesome. 1_refrigerator 6240. 26-year-old living with parents. Hey, y'all. Currently, my only debt is $26K at 0% interest. I do have to pay nearly $1,000 each month on that as the minimum payment. Okay, is that a car? Oh, I have a 14-year-old car with 260,000 miles. That could break down any day, and I wouldn't be surprised. For that reason, I want to have some savings in case I need to get a new car. Dave would say to attack the debt, even though it's 0 interest. Correct? Correct. You knew the answer already, I'm guessing. And the car is with 263,000 miles is not a problem until it's a problem. So you should have the $1,000 emergency fund, but you should be otherwise paying that $26,000 debt off. Neither cup. 9819. Leave state government or stay for pension. Tax auditor for state government, approximately 15 years of service. I can retire from the state in 9.5 years at age 51 and draw roughly $2K a month pension for the rest of my life. Okay? Have access to health insurance, but it's expensive. Would be roughly $900 a month, as my kids will be teenagers at that time, and $500 a month when it's just myself. Okay, and it's not even that good of insurance. I plan to continue working for a private company for my retirement for at least another 10 to 15 years. My quandary is that with 15 years experience, I make $58K, and the department has hired beginning auditors with no prior experience, and that will be making approximately $1,000 less than myself after they get off 6-month probation. So basically, my value as a senior auditor is diminished, and has gotten me thinking about looking to see what is available out in the private industry. Also, note there aren't any major promotions that I could pursue within the government. I don't know that the government is in the habit of firing older people just because they make 1,000 more than the new kids. I don't know that they do that. I don't know that they do anything to try to save money at all. So I don't know what's going on with that, but if you don't have any other retirement savings, and the pension would be your only savings, and you think you need to retire, well, you're going to retire and get the pension and then work for another company. So I don't know, even if you do that, if you make it, how old? Let's see, in 9.5 years. Okay, so it's like 41.5 right now. All right. So that's still 10 years, but you're thinking you could get X before you retire there, I'm guessing. I could leave state government and take a consulting position where I would make approximately $40,000 more a year in my current job. I have no worries about layoffs. Travel. My current job, I have no worries about layoffs, but you're worried about getting fired? Travel non-existent, great work-life balance, etc. The consulting position would require, some traveling, more hours, but pay $40K a year more. Well, I mean, basically, you got to decide for yourself. But I mean, if you don't have any retirement savings on your own other than the pension at this point, then you might be locked into it. Let's see, if I leave a state government right now, my pension would be approximately, so $1,400 a month starting at age 65. Yeah, you just have to work till 65 then. Okay, that's right, because you still get it because you have work there, so you don't lose all of it. Just thought I would get thoughts on this. I'm torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn on whether to pursue the $40K extra per year now or stay put at my current job for stability plus the $2K pension payments here in around 10 years. That's going to be up to you. It sounds like it could be more money, more income overall. But again, it would depend on if you already had other retirement savings elsewhere. So, but mostly that's a you thing. You have to decide whether you want to. I mean, it can be daunting trying to switch from one job to another, like especially a job you're really comfortable in and you've been in for a long time, and then all of a sudden you got to do this new thing, and it's not really that comfortable for most people, I would think. Excuse me. Nick Steve 11, baby step 2. My wife and I started the baby steps in January. We had paid off $17,252.86 in our debt in our first month. Excellent. Paid off all of our credit cards, wife car loan, 4 student loans so far. We still have roughly $78,000 in student loans left, but we are chugging along. For those of you guys in baby step 2 with us, let's keep the momentum going. Rice and beans, beans and rice. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and say they make a lot of money. And on top of that, they may have had a bunch of other savings while also having all that debt, and they just transferred some over, and that's how they're able to do 17.2 thousand in 1 month. So, but that's great. They're doing it correctly. So 78 and 78. So I mean that's about 100K, 105K in total debt, not including house. So I mean, could they get the house paid off? We don't know. But excellent. Grizzly Kicks, 28-year-old high earner, $1 million in debt. Want to go debt free? That's good, good decision. I would like to get some advice from those in the subreddit. So, is the advice about whether to go debt free or you want to, and then it's something? Let's find out. Something related to that. 6 months ago, I left my public sector job for a private sector gig. My wife and I now make around $450,000 combined. Okay, so they don't have any problems then, since they should have no questions. Everything should be fine, right? Let's go to the next one. No, that's not how it works. Because again, the high earners often have way more expenses and way more debt than you do. So I don't get it when people can't relate. The problem is you're thinking about their $450K income with your, say, $80,000 worth of debt, which again, that would be no problem to pay off quickly, of course. But you can't do that because they may have a bunch. And now let's see if we do. If they do, and the answer is yes, $700,000 mortgage. 30 years, so that's bad. $238,000 in student loans. So yeah, so like they said, $1 million in debt. So you can't compare their $450K income again to your $100,000 in debt, they have $1 million in debt. And so you can't relate to these people? You can't. Unreal. All right. 238 student loans, 2021 Tesla. We own my wife's car. All right. Okay. So could sell that 2021 Tesla. Could do that. I mean, if they buckle down though and cut expenses and stuff, they have a big shovel, so it's possible that they could do it easier at that point. And that is true, but still, as far as the amount of debt, this example really ought to make people figure out that, oh, they could still have problems. I can still relate to them because they have way more of a percentage of debt to their income than I do. So, see, the house we own is duplex and we rent out the larger portion of it. With utilities and maintenance on the property, we spend on average $2,000 a month out of pocket. So how much are you charging for it where you're making a profit even though you have to pay $2,000 out of pocket? This is why you don't want to be landlords, kids. This is why you don't want to house hack, because of this. So, I mean, granted, they would have some utilities and, for their portion of it, and maintenance on their portion of it, but, somebody else is breaking stuff and causing more maintenance to be needed, maybe, and they have to pay for that. So let's see, we're very comfortable now as everything is going well, but I'm getting anxious about having almost $1 million in debt and worry about what would happen if I lost my job. Yeah. I'm mainly wondering how I should tackle the student loan debt. I have a 6-month emergency fund. Okay, well, you wouldn't do that. So you're doing it wrong. Just like the poors, you're doing it wrong as a Richie. And probably negative, maybe not negative net worth, maybe about even. So the poors may have a higher net worth than this person. Let's see, I have a 6-month emergency fund. So yeah, that you would cut down to $1,000. Maybe you sell the duplex and get out of the landlord business and move down to something cheaper. So yeah, but you would do that. No 6-month emergency fund. And I mean, I understand why you would want to do that, because you would want to have that before you buy a house, but not with all this other debt. So you can't address all of this stuff all at the same time. You can't have enough to run the house, but also pay off other debt as well. So you can't do all that at the same time. My wife and I also have about $50K in our retirement accounts. Should I be focusing on eliminating my student loan debt first or paying down the mortgage? It's smallest to largest is how that works. And taking your emergency fund down to $1,000, that should free up something to clear off the debt. That might even pay off that car. Is that the lowest thing? Oh, so it's just these. It's just the 2021 Tesla. So you could sell that car and that gets rid of that 23.6K car debt immediately. But you could move down in house and get rid of that 700K mortgage. And then work on the student loans would be what's left. And so with $450,000 and no other debt other than the $238K in student loans, I mean, maybe rent for a year while you do that. Rent, and then you reassess, and then you buy a different house, maybe a cheaper house at that point. But with no debt, 700K mortgage might be, yeah, I mean, that's definitely doable on this income if you don't have all this debt and all the maintenance on the house that you're not living in most of it. Does refinancing my mortgage to a 15-year one make sense? No, instead of doing that, I would refinance it to a 0-year mortgage by selling it, because that basically fixes your problem pretty much immediately. If you have, you said 30 years, depends on how long you've had it. Maybe you have some equity in it. And so if you sell it and rent, then you would have maybe a little bit out of the equity. And so you would be able to probably take care of all of it. By selling it, you would be able to take care of almost all the debt, probably within a year. And you can just rent during that time. We have plenty of disposable income. Yeah, all that goes to dispose all of that disposable income onto your debt. I'm just not sure where to start. Up to this point, we've only focused on saving up for a house and retirement savings, but it seems silly to save for retirement having as much student loan as I do. Thanks in advance for any advice. Yeah, that would be why, of course, in the baby steps here, investing is after paying off all non-mortgage debts. Step 2 and all the way 2 steps later is the baby step 4, investing. So no, you wouldn't be doing investing while you fix this over the year. But then guess what? After you fix this, it's a year of your life. And let's see, how old? 28 years, still a baby, got your whole life ahead of you still. It's 1 year, just a hashtag season of you sacrificing by renting for a year while you clean this up, and then you can save and buy a new house, which with no debt should be pretty easy to do, to save up that down payment, and then you can get a different mortgage and only do a 15 and buy a house that is not making you house poor. Alrighty. Woogity woogity woo, woogity woogity woo. I think woo. It just has a woogity woogity W. Maybe ran out of space on the name. 34 device inheriting $240,000 from my late mother's IRA, in addition to $100K in life insurance. Also inheriting a house with $120,000 owed, 0 credit. Basically financially illiterate. What do I do? Unless you like the house, and unless you always, your whole life, wanted to be a landlord, you do not do that. You just sell the house. So you sell the house, and then that gives you cash, and you have the $100K life insurance, and that gives you cash. And you have the $240K as well. So that's $340,000 and a house. Sell the house as well, and so maybe you have somewhere around $400,000 at that point. And so then you would just walk up these fabulous baby steps. Steps 1, hopefully 1, 2, and 3 with that much, with $400,000 approximately that you would have. Hopefully you could knock out baby steps 1, 2, and 3 all in one go, which is save $1,000 in a start emergency fund, and then pay off all debts from smallest to largest. Using debt snowball method, you don't say how much debt you have. So, but hopefully that would pay it all off. So you would do that, and then you would have 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And then start addressing retirement. Baby step 4, invest 15% of your gross household income into retirement and save for kid college and pay off your mortgage early if you have one. But again, it depends on which baby steps, but that's what you do with any money you get. with any money you get, what you do is you apply it to whatever baby step you're on. And so I just walked you through all of them, and you could at least be, probably you could be done with steps 1, 2, and 3, and then you could start doing 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time. And you would say, could save for a down payment, or if you have enough money left over to do a down payment after you have also paid off debt and have the 6-month emergency fund, which you should have before you buy a house, then maybe you have still enough left over to put a down payment on a house, and you could get that if you don't have it already. So not enough details there. Mysterious hyphen funny hyphen 431 question about Dave's car rule. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm guessing the person doesn't like it. If I buy a car that is 60% of my annual income, that's too much. Yeah. At time of purchase, but after a year it drops in value to 50%. Is it okay from then? Stop trying to get around it. Stop trying to get around. Like, you know, some people try this every so often, and they try to find loopholes and stuff like that, and Dave will say something like, you're trying to find a way to not do the stuff, and you don't have to follow Dave's car rule at all, so why do you care? If I purchase it, the value goes up for some reason, it won't. What I need to sell if it becomes more than 50% to comply with the rule. No, well, first of all, you're buying in cash. First of all, so you're not paying on it. So, and if it's new, you have to be a millionaire. You have to have $1 million net worth in order to do that, according to his other rules. And so come back with me if you want to have some, try to find some loopholes on that. But this is serious overthinking on this person's part, unless he's just trying to wind me up. Pure hyphen donut. Interesting. 7. Taking the leap into the baby steps, but worried it feels like going backwards. Tough would be the answer there. I'm a longtime budget nerd, but new to the concept of the baby steps. I started using You Need a Budget about 5 years ago, and it revolutionized my relationship to money. Great. And really gave me a sense of confidence and security. Great. That said, I wonder now if I'm feeling too secure and I'm experiencing some lifestyle creep. While shopping for a new vehicle last year, it would not be new. A used, new to you vehicle to accommodate a growing family. And guess what? If you're having one child, you do not need a minivan. Your compact car is fine for one baby. Let's see. We crunched the numbers on cost to own over the lifespan of the vehicle and opted to buy new versus getting a much older used vehicle. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about going backwards because you're not doing the baby steps. So if you're going backwards, that's on you because you're doing what you want to do. We initially planned to buy something 3 to 5 years old, but had a rude awakening. When we look at the post-COVID used car market, we took on a 60-month car loan. That's not advised either. So again, you're not following any of Dave's advice. So what difference does it make? 3 months of income and an emergency fund, and that you wouldn't have either if you were following the baby steps because you'd be paying off that loan. IRA, investing already, so wasn't following the advice. So what's the deal? So let's see, here's my dilemma. So we could, in theory, liquidate most of our emergency fund and fully pay off the car loan. Yep. Leaving us with about a month's worth of expenses and emergency savings. It should only be $1,000 while you have debt. As I say, I'm new to the baby steps. They're easy to understand, though. I know this is the path that Dave Ramsey lays out. Yes, it is. But after spending the last 5 years diligently building up my saving, this feels terrifying to me. Well, you did it wrong. So If you built up savings and now you don't want to let your savings go, even though it'll make your life better by getting rid of your debt, which you shouldn't have bought the car anyway, because what was wrong with your other car? Exactly. Now, I understand if you have a compact car and you had a fourth child, then we can talk, but it would still be a used car. You have to be a millionaire in order to buy a used car, per Mr. Ramsey's advice. Especially if I turned off my IRA contribution for a period of time. Well, that's what you would do until you get to step 4. Step 3 is having the 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Following the baby steps feels like going backwards if it means eating into my savings. Well, the way it's not going backwards is it does eat into your savings, but that gets rid of your debt. And I don't know about to you, but to me, having debt is scarier than not having savings. Stopping my retirement contribution even temporarily, yes. And continue to pause on funding the kids' education accounts, yes. You do all that. Has anyone else grappled with this? Any advice? Well, I mean, I guess if you did all of the wrong stuff, if you did all of that before you found, and you said you're new to the baby steps, so you didn't know until now, and now you're trying to apply it to everything that you did wrong, and it's not going to match up with everything you did wrong. You can't look at the baby steps after doing all this stuff and think, oh, I did everything wrong, or without feeling like you did everything wrong, because you did, according to what the Dave Ramsey advice is. So it's up to you if you want to do them, but I think you understand them, and because you know that it does eat up the savings, takes it down to $1,000 if you're going to pay off your debt. And no investing while you are saving the fully funded emergency fund. Steps 1, 2, and 3, save $1,000 emergency fund, beginner emergency fund. Baby step 2, pay off debts smallest to largest using the debt snowball method, which is smallest to largest. And then baby step 3, grow the $1,000 savings into 3 to 6 months of living expenses, which is your fully funded emergency fund. And those 3 steps are done in order, one at a time. And so you don't go past 1, 2, and 3 until you're done with step 3. And so investing doesn't start until step 4. So yes, you did everything wrong. Yes, you did. And so when you apply Dave's advice to what you did, it's not going to match up. And so you are basically going to be starting, you thought by starting, because you basically started with step 3, even though you didn't know it was step 3 at the time, you did step 3 first without completing step 2. And so now, yeah, you are going backwards because you did it wrong if you would like to follow Mr. Ramsey's advice. All right, over inside 6965, 29-year-old, rent-free, where to start with freed up income? Well, you would apply it to the baby steps. I've been fortunate enough to be in a rent-free living situation, definitely. Interesting. Was paying about $1,600 a month for rent out of my $4,700 income a month. Now left with $400 car payment. I wonder where the freed up income can go. $21K in student loan, projected to be forgiven in 3 years. PSLF, all of those don't get, look at the statistics, Google the statistics on that. All of them do not get forgiven. $1,100 in consumer debt. Emergency fund is established. Again, doing it wrong. So you would, if you want the Ramsey advice, you would be applying in the freed up income to the baby steps in order. And let's see, with the rent line item removed from my budget, should I focus aggressively on the student loan debt and become debt free? Yes. Or saving for house down payment with the freed up income? No, you would do the baby steps is what the Ramsey advice would be, and saving up down payment is 3B. Paying off debt is step 2, and so you would do step 2 first. Any additional money, again, doesn't matter if it's this post or the other post that was asking about what to do with inheritance, or the other post that was getting bonuses or something like that. All 3 of those, it's the same thing. You apply it to whatever baby step that you're on. What time is it? All right, got 19 minutes to go for 2 hours of show here on a Super Bowl Sunday. Everyday defenders need help to talk to me. Oh, to talk me, okay, probably need help to talk me into doing the right thing. Okay, well, you're doing it wrong, so do it right. How was that? Let's find out what he talking about. Willis, 2 years ago, I finished building a home for $700,000. That's like the other people's condos, the Richies condos that make $450K a year. When I started the build, we were still sitting at a 2.5% interest rate. But due to COVID slowdowns, our build took nearly 18 months. Contractors do take a bite, don't they? And by the time I was completed, we were spiked to a 7.2% rate. In essence, our monthly payment jumped by nearly $1,800 higher than we projected. Yeah, that's why you don't do that. That's why you would start the build and have a locked interest rate at that point, and you wouldn't be variable. So that's the problem there. Let's see, $1,800 higher than you projected per month. Yeah, originally it would have been squarely within the budget. Now, we were devastated, of course. Yep. Stick it out for 18 months now, but it's just treading water. We hope to be able to refinance, but rates are not down yet. Right? But rates haven't come down much, right? And we are saddled with the dreaded choice. Yep. Do we sell the house? You might have to. Payment is currently $3,800. Was supposed to just be over $2,000. Yeah. Crying emoji. Income varies year over year, 60K to 100K. Okay, so if some years you make 60K, you cannot afford a $700,000 house. So dumb. Total monthly expenses, including the mortgage, $5,500. Zero debt outside of the mortgage. That's good at least. 30K in savings. All right. My ego and emotions have kept me from pulling the plug, especially since home values have come down. So between the market and fees, I'd likely lose a quarter or more of our original equity. But I also know I'm never going to experience peace living this way. Yeah, if I sold, I'd have approximately 150K in equity in today's market. Yeah, the problem with equity, it's great. It's just like gains and losses in the market. Until you sell, you do not lock that in. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to lose our original equity. Your original equity doesn't exist. It only exists as a number on a piece of paper that you write it down on, or a computer file that you put it in. That is all your equity is until you sell. So you never had it. So unfortunately, the world changed around you, and that affected your equity. And so that is the way it goes, unfortunately. But again, if you have sometimes a 60K, making 60K a year, that does not compute with a $700,000 house. So you definitely did that wrong. Let's see. Edit. My profession is realtor. Well, I mean, then you should know better. You should know that rates change, and so you should know better and be locked in. I'm sure you've had clients where the rates changed on them because they had variable loans. So you should know better than anybody else. The last few years have been a wild ride for business, for good and bad. This year, I think I'll make around 100K. Okay, great. Again, that's not 180K. And I mean, even if you did 180K every single year, a $700,000 house is too much. So you are house poor, sell it immediately. I know it sucks. I know it sucks to do something like that and say, oh, this house is going to be so nice and all that. But that's unsustainable, just like you have admitted to that already. So as far as doing the right thing, I don't think you can do the other thing at all, even if you wanted to. Let's see, true intention, 4322. Should we move? Maybe. Let's see, should we move to Hawaii? Contact, you can say hi to DL there. What up, DL? He is in the Ramsey Show chat quite a bit. My wife and I find ourselves at steps 4, 5, and 6 in life. We have 3 children, aged 7, 4, and 1. And we enjoy a very comfortable life here in Utah, okay? Quite different to be in Hawaii than Utah, I would think. However, the downside is that we have no family here. Oh, they all live in Hawaii. Okay. My wife and I, how'd you get there? Interesting. My wife and I want our children to grow up immersed in their Hawaiian culture and develop relationships with grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Great. Which can't be done in Utah, is the question. However, the catch is, of course there's going to be a catch. If it wasn't a catch, they would have just moved instead of take the time to post on Reddit. Would require us to leave behind our very comfortable life, given the significantly higher cost of living in the islands. Yup. Islands do take a bite, don't she? Despite this, we are inclined to make the move, as family and culture is very important to us. The question is whether it's worth paying a premium and giving up our current comforts for the sake of our children being able to know their family and culture. Combined income, 92K. Now, is that going to go up? Mortgage 165. So if you would sell that house, you would get like 135. At least 100K, and that could help you move. But the employment situation, let's see, it would stay the same. Oh, part-time, work from home, admin, okay. Takes care of children, okay. Oh, and you have your own business. Okay, so the income would stay the same, and 92K is not going to buy as much there. And that probably for Hawaii, that's probably not enough. Let's see, I take a small paycheck for what I should be making if I want to be a regular employee, and distribute the remainder back to the business so that I can remain debt-free and cash flow everything I do. Yes. So, yeah, and so that's your choice. So sometimes you got to make choices. If you're going to stay in that business and only make that much money, then 92K sounds low for the islands. 2 youngest would stay home with wife. Youngest would be going to a Hawaiian immersion school, which is heavily subsidized. Rent would be around 3K. What is the, didn't say what the mortgage payment is. Doesn't say what the mortgage payment is, but just the renting for $3,000. I mean, you get a little bit in the equity to take over there with you. But I just don't think that income is gonna do it. Let's see if there's something the internet would say about that. Let's see, Hawaii recommended minimum income 2024. Minimum wage increasing for $12 to $14. Okay, so that's that. That's not what I want to know. What's a livable salary in Hawaii? 70 to 100K for a single person. Or 120K. So you're not even at the bottom of the live comfortable. You're not even at the bottom of that because you're at 92 and this says 120. 200,000 for a family. So, and you have what, 3 or 4 children, I think it was. So that's yeah, that would not be advised. You have to try to find a way to get the income up to go back there, I would think. Understand the wanting to be around family and culture and such like that, but at what price? I mean, you'll be struggling financially there, it sounds like. Commercial delay 858, advice on getting rid of vehicle. Well, generally if you're asking, that would mean to do it, but maybe it's how to do it. Let's see, they want to get rid of the truck, to get rid of payments, to get a cash vehicle. Great. That being said, I need advice on the best way to do this. My truck currently has some damage that needs to be fixed without the help of insurance. You sell it as is. Unfortunately, that's going to take what you sell it for down. Worth around 35, 38 when it's not damaged. Repair quote came in around 6K. So 35 to 38. So you sell it for what you can get. So theoretically, if you say, let's go with the low end, so that'd be 35, and you would subtract 6 from that for the cost of the repair. And instead of you doing it and paying that money, you just take that off of the price that you get. And so that would be 29K. And if you owe 33K, then you need $4,000 for that. And you would need cash to get a cash vehicle for yourself as well. Just trying to figure out the best way to do this financially. I'm tired of having a truck payment. Yeah, should I go ahead and buy a cash car and then send my truck into repairs? You can fix it first, but if you're not going to get significantly more than what you're putting into it, it's a waste of time to do that. Now, the only problem would be if you can't sell it for the 29 and then you think you can sell it for 35 if you spend the 6K, then you can try that. But I would first try to sell it as is for cheaper, and then they can pay the 6K, and that's not you doing it. So that would be the dealio on that. All right, last question. All the time OTR on the road, I think. Confused on what baby step I am. Oh, this is great. I love it when they can't figure it out, because it's generally very simple, but the problem is a lot of time we're too close to our own personal money situations. Or you're from Bulgaria, I'm seeing right there. So there could be a language barrier as well there. So let's see what's going on there. But yeah, a lot of times people are too close to their own situation. Like the person that can't believe he has to go backwards because he did it out of order. He saved his full emergency fund first, and now he has to deplete that and pay off debt. And so that puts him in a lower baby step, and people do not like that. And some people get a mental block over stuff they don't like. And so that's how that works. But let's see what our pal from Bulgaria, has to say about it. So I, 26 man, am from Bulgaria, and I've followed Dave Ramsey for some time now, and it is a challenge to assess my situation since I am from an opposite side of the world, a different background, and an economical situation. Okay, so I don't have any of that stuff in my head at all, like, making a fog in there. I'm just going to be looking at your numbers. Let's see, I work at a truck driver in Western Europe for a Bulgarian company. 3,200 euro. Net, I am in Bulgaria for 2 months a year, and while I am home, I do not get paid As I'm not working. Excuse me. Sorry, stayed up a little late last night. Made myself get up early this morning so I could wake up on time for work tomorrow. That is a little more than 6,000 Bulgarian lev, I guess is the name of the currency. For comparison, a job in a warehouse here would pay 1,200 to 1,400 lev. So I do all right for myself in that regard. Okay, what is the dealio with that? The income really doesn't matter as far as what baby step you're in. Inherited an apartment, okay. Renovated, has some money saved up from working a strawberry picker in Scotland. Been around a lot, huh? Cool. That would be fun to do all that traveling and living in different places, seeing different places. And I got some help from my mother and grandmother, okay? My expenses are low while I'm in Bulgaria. Okay, electric bill. Okay, none of these affect the baby steps. Your like expenses, they don't affect the baby steps that you're in. So none of that comes in there. Do not own a vehicle. Okay, cabs and public transportation. No debt. Okay, so that means that you have saved up 3 months of your expenses. Okay, so that would cover you you're on step 3, done. And so now you would be in step 4, saving for retirement. I would have saved more, but Bulgaria is set to join the Eurozone. Really? Okay, and I think there might be some turmoil in our financial system. You never know, that integration. That might not be easy. When that passes, I think it would be a good idea to save a year worth of expenses. Savings can't ever hurt. I don't see how you're earning the Eurozone. So, I mean, unless you are not going to be using that currency and you'll be using euros. And so you think you would lose like the worth of your the lev or leva currency, if you think that would lose value. But if it's going to maintain the same value to the euro, then that doesn't matter, and any expenses would be good. So especially for any kind of situation like that, you would want to have savings, but maybe you save it in euros instead. I own 38,000 level worth of gold and roughly 15 level worth of silver. Mr. Ramsey does not recommend metals, so you could cash those out, sell those, and then you would have savings. That is 27,000 euro. Yeah, so then you would have that. Yeah, I have a pension fund that I contribute to. Okay, and I have 5,500 there, which is 2,800 euro. Okay, well that retirement savings need to go up. Single, no children. Okay, so that's no step 5, and no, is there mortgage? I probably will have kids of my own and confused on how should I approach the college fund part of the baby steps, as recently higher education in Bulgaria has become free and we do not have the tradition of moving out of our parents' house when turning 18. I moved out when I was 21. You don't have to worry about that until there is one baby. So until there's one baby, you don't address that. In the next year, if you do want to address it in advance, if you run out of things that cost money and you have more money burning a hole in your pocket, you can start a savings account or high yield savings account, or put it in the market, and just that would eventually become college fund. But could just be cash right now, because always in motion is the future. You don't know if you will ever have kids. You said probably. So, and if you want them, I hope you get them. But you just don't know. And so saving that as regular cash instead of like inside of a tax advantage college fund, you wouldn't do until there is an actual child. Let's see. So in the next year, I plan on investing in some stock that pay dividends. All right. A lot of people say that, and I don't know if they see that on the TikTok or they read that in some financial thing, but Okay, first of all, Dave Ramsey doesn't do single stocks. Do mutual funds instead. And if it's retirement investing, that would be managed mutual funds. And so the problem is you don't want to invest in some stock that pays dividends, because then you don't look past the dividends. You want the overall higher return on investing. So you want the one that makes the most, and it may or may not pay out dividends. So you gotta find the one that makes the most, and it could be the one that pays the dividends, but you can't chase dividends because you may be losing money overall, even when the dividends are included in. So let's see. So what baby step you're on? You are on 4 right now. And so again, I don't see anything about you having a house. So I'm going to say you're in 4, and that's investing, but you're also you could begin saving for a house if you don't have it, and that would be step 3B. Another question, okay. My mother's 53 with cerebral palsy, and she works as an accountant making 1,500 Bulgarian leva. She gets a pension of around 800 Bulgarian leva, with which she can live on, and is planning on going to countryside to live in a village with her boyfriend. All right. Should I help her out monthly with money, or should I invest in various financial instruments? You have to get your own thing happening first. You should be putting 15% of your gross income into your retirement. And so anything like that, you can put in the budget. Some help for her if you would like. I understand it's much more common for children to help out their parents in other countries. And so I get that. But the Ramsey advice is that you put on your oxygen mask before you assist others. And so you would take care of your retirement first before assisting with hers. Let's see. She has 40,000 leva saved in her bank account. They're not invested in assets. They are liquid money. Well, she's 53 already, so and she's gonna let's see what she can live on. Planning to go to countryside. So it depends on how long from then. I mean, if there's 5 years, you could invest that in the market. If she has 5 years before she is doing that, at least in an index fund, if nothing more aggressive than that. Let's say I just feel like a debt, as she was there for me in a very difficult moment and has always been supportive of me after my father passed away from cancer, and I feel that I owe a decent part of my current financial situation to her support. Well, great. Like I said, you can put help mom with retirement in your budget. And so definitely do make the budget. That would be part of step 0. And so if you don't have a budget, you're on step 0. If you do have a budget, then you're probably on step 4. And so you can definitely help, but make sure you're doing 15% of your gross income into your retirement first, and then with any extra you have left over after you've taken care of your expenses and that retirement investing, then you can do that. Oh, also, yeah, it's the you might be on emergency fund depending on what the euro and the lev would equal out to. It has to be 3 to 6 months of your expenses. I think you said you do have 3 months already to cover your life on the road. Okay, so I'm assuming that you would have that, and that 3 months as a single gentleman, that would be fine for you. So yes, step 4 for you. Alrighty. A reminder that there are 2 Ramsey Show after shows coming up the next few weeks. As I still didn't get a clamp for my chair, forgot all about it, didn't check the list on my phone. Coming up in the next 2 weeks, it is the Ramsey Show After Show. I used to be able to do that every day, but since I changed jobs, I can only do that 1 to 3 times a month. And so there are going to be 2 this month. And that is Fat Tuesday. Started Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. And that is on Tuesday, the 13th of February. And then also on Monday, the 19th of February, there will be another after show as well. Send any pictures for show and tell to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, other than those, the after show is this show, answering your financial questions with Coach Steve Money, and that is Ramsey time during the week. For the video on YouTube is 4 p.m. Eastern time, and so that's when I do this on the weekends on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so more Steve for you, more wonderful Ramsey advice for you, even on the weekends. Once again, I am Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation is that word /assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That's a video conferencing appointment. You can do that from anywhere in the world. You can email me about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations, you can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Also Cash App, $CoachSteveMoney. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.